If you've been asking, should you reach out, then maybe this reading will bring you some of the clarity that you've been craving. So we're going to ask a couple of questions. Let us have a look at what is the true energetic reason that you're still feeling them. Okay, we have the Page of Swords. What would reaching out create or shift? What would it create or shift, please, Spirit, for the viewer? We have got a number of cards. We have got the Emperor, the King of Cups, the Queen of Wands, and we have the Ten of Cups. And then let's ask, what does your highest self want you to know? We have got the Six of Wands and the Judgment cards. So this reading really speaks to a connection where the bond has not faded, but the roles themselves, they might have evolved. So there is a strong feeling that both people are still very energetically aware of each other, watching or sensing one another from afar, here with that Page of Blades. But instead of the impulsive reunion energy, this reading holds the tone of emotional maturity and spiritual growth and inner alignment. So this second card group that we're seeing suggests that reaching out could really lead to a powerful emotional honesty if both people are really standing in their full embodiment. But the path is only aligned when it comes from a place of sovereignty, not longing. The final cards that we're seeing here confirm that this is very much about choosing your higher self's truth, regardless of the outcome. So if contact happens, it's going to be part of a victory for the soul, not just the relationship. So to me, this reading feels like it is for those that still feel the pull of someone that they're maybe no longer in contact with, and you've maybe not had closure, yet the connection lives on in your dreams, in your gut, in your body, and you might be wondering whether to send that message and if it would bring healing or whether it would reopen wounds. So you might feel torn between your intuition and your ego, between longing and sovereignty. So if you're standing in that sacred pause of should I reach out, then I feel that this reading could potentially be for you. The true energetic reason that you're still feeling them is showing up as the Page of Blades. And this is talking about a very psychic thread. The feeling that someone is still watching, still thinking, still observing, and perhaps you both are doing it. So it's not just your imagination. There seems to be, curiosity and attentiveness and unspoken energy that is still active between the both of you. But with it being a page, it is still immature energy. It's something that is unspoken and cautious, maybe even a little bit fearful. So this card says that you feel them because you're still part of each other's mental and energetic landscape, but it hasn't really matured into movement yet. And this takes us to the next question of what would reaching out create or shift? And initially I thought there would maybe only be one card that came out, but we have got a whole caboodle here. So this is such a powerful cluster too. It really says that if you reach out from a place of emotional maturity with this King of Cups here, and confidence and self-worth and grounded intention, then the potential for a deep emotional connection and fulfillment is very, very real. But it is not a moment to reach out from insecurity or fear. So these cards very much say that reaching out only creates alignment when you are fully rooted in your own truth. So if you're still waiting for validation or hoping that they're going to complete your story, then I would say maybe pause. But if you are in these kind of energies of the King and the Queen and the Emperor energies, then this might actually be a moment of soulful reconnection or divine closure for you. I've always really loved this particular deck, and we can see this Queen of Wands and she is surrounded by hibiscus. So this version of the Queen is very sensual and radiant and aligned with divine feminine magnetism. So hibiscus blooms are often associated with delicate strength and grace and transitory beauty. So they bloom brightly but only for a short time, and this speaks of the importance of timing. And this Queen, she does not chase. She's very magnetic, and she shows up in full bloom, in confidence, in self-honoring, and very, very aware of her value. So the Queen of Wands here suggests that reaching out might shift the dynamic powerfully, but only if done from this place of self-possession and radiant confidence. Energy is everything, and this is the message that reaching out while fully in your Queen energy can reawaken recognition and attraction or clarity, but you must protect your bloom first. And this version of the Emperor is stunningly symbolic. We see all of these pepper vines, and they are associated with stimulus, with heat, and the ability to both preserve and awaken. So pepper activates the senses, and here we can see that the Emperor isn't cold or rigid. He's very seasoned and stirred and emotionally awakened. The fact that we can see into the lungs and into the heart indicates that there's a readiness to breathe into the truth. So the lungs, they represent the breath of life. They also represent the capacity for presence and exchange. So while the heart, of course, is our core for connection and vulnerability and courage, together this really tells us that reaching out could create a very powerful recognition of something that once required restraint. So this isn't reckless passion, it feels very structured. And I've done the inner work and I have the space to show up maturely. So you're not chasing, you're again standing in your divine authority and inviting rather than demanding. Now this could be talking about you, or this could be talking about the person with whom you would like to connect with. We then have the King of Cups, and this card really balances the Emperor beautifully. So the King of Cups is emotionally available but in control. So they feel everything and doesn't get swept away. So the presence here shows that this conversation would have depth. It wouldn't be shallow or dismissive. It could awaken a heartfelt response, especially if both people have really done some emotional maturing. So this card reflects emotional sincerity, grace under pressure, and depth without drama. So this energy, it definitely says, speak from your heart, but remain centered in yourself. And then we have this Ten of Cups, which is, of course, the dream. It is the emotional fulfillment, it's the connection, it's the union, or it is the deep peace. This leads us to the next question of what does your highest self want you to know before you make this decision? So Judgment says you already know the truth. The inner call has already sounded, and this is your spiritual initiation. If you choose to reach out, then do so as an act of self-honoring, not to get a particular response. The Six of Wands, it really says your victory comes from acting in alignment with your inner knowing, not from the outcome itself. This is about reclaiming your voice, your truth, your radiance. If you stay silent, it's powerful. If you speak, it's powerful. And the power is in the clarity, not in the reply. You are still very connected, and the part of you that is asking, should you reach out, is really asking, am I whole enough to now hold this conversation no matter the outcome? And if the answer is yes, then Spirit shows that this could lead to a beautiful alignment or closure. But if that answer is no, then this reading is also a reminder that your peace is not dependent on their reply.